very warm welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us on this edition of K24 Inside Business, the last word in business. My name is Sarah Adam. Later in the hour, we'll have a discussion on technology, and technology simply disrupting the public transport sector. We had cab hailing apps, now we have public hailing apps. We'll have that later in the hour, but for now, let's take a look at what is making headlines in the world of business. We begin with CMA warns on illegal forex. Vehicle importers face delay. And fishermen complain over lack of equipment. To a very fast story of the hour now, telecom giant Safaricom continues to dominate the Kenya stock market significantly, contributing to the Kenya total wealth. The company today held its first annual general meeting since the demise of former CEO Bob Collymore, with talks of his permanent successor expected to be the discussion for today. Now we have our reporter Jimmy Mbogo, who is currently on site and is probably going to give us an update on that, or we'll just take a feed from there and get to know what is going on. Let's listen in.
I thank you. I'll take that as carried. Item 2B is to note that the Board of Directors meeting held on 2nd May 2019 approved the payment of a special dividend of 0.62 shillings, that is 62 cents per share, from the retained earnings on the issued and paid up share capital of the company. This special dividend will be payable on or before 30th November, and we will make every effort to make sure it's done before. To all the shareholders appearing on the register of members as at the close of business on the 2nd of September 2019. May I have a proposer, please? Oh, this is, yeah. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I really do apologize for this disturbance. Right. I think we can go to item number 3 on the agenda, which is the re-election of the election of directors. And in this case, item 3A, elect Dr.
Now, that is a Safaricom annual general meeting that is currently taking place in Bomas of Kenya, and it is expected that today they'll probably talk about the permanent succession of the CEO, since the interim CEO is Michael Joseph. We'll have that later in our subsequent bulletin, but for now, let's move on, where thousands of second-hand cars could be stuck longer at the Mombasa port after implementation hitches rocked the adoption of the newly rolled out integration customs management system. The Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, has assured importers that if its addressed application hitches with new system, this came as motor vehicles importers raised fears of pile-up of the uncleared units at the port following system delays. KRA has extended the implementation of the ICMS, which is a single window system that involves submitting export or import documents into a single window system on motor vehicles import processing. But traders, shippers and importers on Wednesday told people that the newly system caused clearance delays and risks of pile-up of uncleared vehicles. Now moving on, ODM party leader Raila Odinga has lauded the Galana Kulalo irrigation scheme as a viable project capable of ending food insecurity in Kenya, speaking in Magarini, Kilifi County. When he inspected the project, Raila called for inclusivity of the two county governments, Tana River and Kilifi, to make the project a success. Caroline Jenga tells us more.
It's our own formulation.
ODM leader Raila Odinga Thursday toured the 7 billion shillings Galana Kulalu project in Kilifi and Tana River counties and gave the project a clean bill held amid allegations of misappropriation of funds. Raila said the project is not a white elephant as purported.
Ni kweli kumekuwako na changamoto kwa hii mradi kama vile inavyojulikana, lakini hatuwezi kusema ati hii ni ile ambayo inaitwa kwa kimombo ati ni white elephant, yani ndovu nyeupe. Hii mradi vile tumeona inafanya kazi. Tumeona vile mahindi inatoka hapa.
The National Irrigation Board and Green Arava, an Israeli company contracted to put 10,000 acres under irrigation, have been at loggerheads with NIB, saying the project stalled after the contractor moved his equipment. However, Green Arava chairman Yavir Kendar refuted the allegations, saying they were still on the ground and enjoy support from the Israeli government.
Hatutaki leta mambo ambayo itasambaratisha uhusiano baina ya Israel na Kenya.
Raila said all stakeholders shall be brought on board in a follow-up meeting to Nairobi to hash out the challenges facing the project.
Sisi sasa tumependekeza ati inatakikana kuwa na ushauriano wale wote ambao wanahusika, yani washikadau wote hii mradi.
Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi welcomed the move by his party leader to push for the inclusivity of the two county governments.
Ama lile lengo hasa la kufanya counties hizi mbili zije kwa meza ya mazungumzo kuhusu mradi huu ni kwamba hatimaye tunataka mradi huu uwe katika milki ya counties hizi mbili.
Kingi reiterated his desire to run the project as it was within the county government mandated under the 2010 constitution.
Kwamba yalopita si ndio yale tugange yajayo. Kwa hivyo wakati huu tunasema kwamba ni muhimu kwamba tufanye mazungumzo na hatimaye milki ya mradi huu uwe katika mabega ya county hizi mbili.
Kingi dismissed claims that his county lacked the capacity to run the project, saying the national government also lacked the capacity at the start of the project. Caroline Njiga, K24, Inside Business.
Now, fishermen along Sori Beach in Migori County have expressed concerns over losses they incurred following unavailability of preservation equipment. The lack of resource and poor weather condition has led to decomposing of sardines, leading to loss of business. Ben Kirira tells us more.
They can buy for us dryer to dry our dagger during rainy season.
The fishermen of Sori Beach in Migori County are requesting the national government for fish dryers in a bid to preserve their fish.
We are taking dagger at 1,000, then we are selling it at 800. That is a big loss.
Isipokauka, ile bei ungeuza ikiwa imekauka inapungua. Ungeuza shilingi 1,500 ama 1,200, unakuja unauza 700 ama 800. Hiyo ni hasara tayari.
According to the chairman of the Sori Beach Management Unit, the daily harvest of sardines from the lake ranges from 2 tons and goes up to 3 tons during peak seasons. The product, however, goes to waste during rainy seasons, as failure to dry the fish forces fishermen to sell them at a throwaway price.
President mwenyewe akikuja hapa, haezi kaa kwa sababu harufu inaanuka.
Sasa tunaomba kama anaweza kutusaidia, atusaidie kwa sababu hapa ndio tunategemea chakula na watoto kusoma.
Fishermen said a decline in the sale of sardines will heavily impact the region's economy. The fishermen said they feel neglected as they continue facing endless harassment in the hands of pirates and Ugandan security officers.
Wakiingia tu kitu ambao wanasema ni kila mtu ashike boti, ukikataa wewe unatolewa nguo, unabaki tu bila, unachapwa sana. Ukisachapa unapewa samaki mbichi unakula.
Ben Kerera, K24 Business.
Now on to financial matters, where Capital Markets Authority has reported progress in ongoing investigations into illegal forex traders and promised stern action to stem the practice. CMA Chief Executive Officer Paul Mudhara Thursday reiterated that those found culpable will face the full force of the law. He spoke in Nairobi when CMA and the Institute of Certified Investment and Financial Analysts ICIFA signed a pact to facilitate rollout of academic courses geared towards building capacity in the market. Under the agreement, ICIFA will formulate the short courses as well as academic courses under the Securities Industry Certification Program for financial analysts and other capital markets industry players. Now moving on, vehicle manufacturers and assembler Hino is set to scale up the production of 300 and 500 heavy commercial vehicle series, according to the managing director Hino. Omar Osoga. Commercial vehicle uptake in the country has experienced a surge in the last few years to sell almost many vehicles, which he says can be attributed to the government's move to make it easier for local assemblers. Jimmy Mbogo tells us more.
Indeed, thank you very much, and a very good afternoon to you too, Sarah. Yes, we are currently right here at Hino headquarters. Now, this is the group that has been assembling heavy commercial vehicles in the country, and over the recent past, they are saying they're currently assembling all these vehicles locally. I will be taking a drive in one of the newly assembled vehicles just to have a feel of what this means. And for those in the logistics business, this could actually be one of those opportunities for you to invest in, be one of those opportunities for you to be able to improve your business in terms of fuel efficiency, in terms of economical capability, given that the fact that the government is moving towards moving cargo from Mombasa to the Nairobi Inland Container Depot through the SGR. All right, Mr. Omar, indeed, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Maybe first of all, you could start by telling us who is currently your target market.
Thank you very much for taking time also to be with us. And I think in terms of the question you have answered, if you look at the 300 and the 500 series, we're looking at the millers, the construction companies, farmers, logistics companies who do transportation. Basically, end-to-end transport, town-to-town transport is what we are looking at. The uptake, I must say, given that we just started the other day in 2013, I mean, other players have been in this market longer than us. The uptake is very, very good, and especially in terms of transportation, which is actually why the truck is, has been made for. If we look at the industries I've just mentioned, and the uptake from those industries has been very high. If you look at in terms of the distribution sector for the millers, we have over 300, 400, 500 trucks that we have sold to these millers. If you look at the construction industry, we've got people who have been using these trucks from inception 2013. The government has been very instrumental in a setup of our industries in terms of assembly. We assemble in Mombasa at Associated Vehicle Assemblers. And we started this in 2014. We launched in 2013, brought them in as fully built up units. In 2014, we were licensed to actually start our CKD units.
When you look at the Kenyan market in general, what are some of the trends that you're picking up in terms of commercial vehicles uptake, in terms of maintenance?
Between the two, it's actually both. The 300 series does the last mile deliveries for most of our clients, and when you look at the 500 series, it's to move bigger and heavier cargo. So apart from that, of course, we talk about the prime movers, the 700 series, which now do town-to-town movement of these goods. Yeah, so we've offered them a complete solution. We've offered our clients a complete solution in terms of the ranges that we give them. I must say we've got about 80% maintenance ratio. There are, of course, the big garages that will have some of them maintained at their own garages, but we do supply them with the parts to enable them do that. Because one thing that we insist on is the use of our genuine parts, which is they are complying to. In terms of purchase of spare parts, let me first of all start by emphasizing that Hino as a brand is fully Japanese.
Indeed, it is a vehicle that has been made specifically to ensure that you get your goods to the market or wherever they need to get, and you get them there on time and effectively without doing harm to our environment, because it's a very efficient, or rather fuel efficient vehicle, as we have been told. But for now, Sarah, I think I will leave you at that, even as I enjoy these few minutes in this machine.
Now moving on, Shuttle Hailing firm Swivel plans to pump in 1.5 billion shillings into its Kenyan operation. Swivel General Manager for Kenya, Shivachi Mulenji, says the financial injection will not only go into improving their current operation, but will also aid them in scaling the business into other towns and routes. He further says that in Kenya, it's a market with a need for a stable solution for perennial traffic snarl-ups, and Swivel believes that they can be able to benefit the local consumers. In addition to the funding, the team also announced that they will be adding more routes to their offering. Swivel initially had 4 routes when they launched in Kenya in February 2019 and has over the last 6 months since increased the 55 routes.
We all know that public transportation in many emerging markets is a big problem. It's unreliable, there's typically no schedule, right? You go to the stage and you pick whatever bus is there. You have no assurance you're going to get a bus when you go to the stage. The quality is questionable. You know, the quality of the interiors, the quality of the experience is questionable. Sometimes there's been questions about the quality, about the safety of people inside matatus and any form of public transportation. So there's a lot of shortcomings, a lot of things that need to be improved on when it comes to public transportation. Taxis as well have their limitation. You know, they don't have fixed meters. The quality again is questionable. They're unsafe. The price fluctuates depending on what the cab driver thinks. So those as well do have their limitations. Transportation is a very essential service for human beings. We have to move from one end to another, and Swivel is coming in to enable you to. It's coming in to improve your daily commute. So we don't want to, we wouldn't go as far as saying that we change their lives, but we definitely change their everyday. We promise to save them time, comfort, and money every single day through our fixed timings, fixed routes, and fixed prices. Because we believe that every day, time, comfort, and money matter. So that is sort of like our brand promise. Every day, time, comfort, and money matter. And just to put this in a bit of perspective, so why time? Time because Swivel is a lot more convenient. We have fixed routes and fixed timings. You have reliability of you're going to be at point X at the exact time.
Now that story will lead to the basis of our discussion today. Today we are discussing technology and transport and how technology has disrupted transport. Joining us to discuss this is Mustafa Kandil, co-founder of Swivel. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for hosting us.
Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Now, how will Swivel help, especially when it comes to the traffic snarl-ups?
Yes. So basically what we do is our entire job is to build mass transit for middle class, right? So we take the buses that are underutilized from the private sector, high capacity vehicles, 14 seats and above, and we use it to create kind of a form of mass transit, basically, that's demand responsive. So the routes are based on where people want to go from, to, etc. So every Swivel vehicle basically is a high capacity vehicle, right? So has the potential to lift cars off the road. The shared mobility here is around 1.5 persons per vehicle across Nairobi. So imagine if a 22-seat bus has its full capacity, that means that 14 cars will be off the road basically, and that helps the congestion, right?
All right. Yeah. And for someone who has never used Swivel, how does it work?
So basically, it's quite simple. So you say, I want to go from X to Y. It tells you, okay, the next station is a 5-minute walk. You take the bus from that place at that time, and then you take the bus for 1 hour. You get dropped at station Y, and you walk for 2 more minutes to your end destination, for example. So it's very, very simple. There's a fixed bus, there's a fixed route, there's a fixed station, there's a fixed timing. So it's very reliable, it's very affordable, it's convenient, and safe as well.
I saw minimum best rate is at 200 shillings.
Yes.
But you're planning to increase that later?
No. So we're introducing dynamic pricing actually, so now the pricing is fixed across routes, which is 200 shillings per trip. Now the plan is to introduce dynamic pricing, so you will be charged based on the kilometers and the minutes. So most of the fares will be less than 200 shillings.
Less than 200. Yes. How are you making money if the fares are less? Because I believe you have people go to different destinations, yes, meaning the kilometers vary.
Yes.
So if you charge minimum best at 200 and you're saying it's going to go lower than that, yes, how are you planning to make money?
So it's a function of volume and price, right? So we hope that by decreasing the price, actually the volume increases. So the price will be in the end, I think, the same average. However, some people who will travel extra than the average will pay a little bit more, and the majority that travels less than the average will pay less than the 200 shillings.
All right. What if I pay for my transport,
yeah,
and the bus leaves me? Do you refund?
So if you pay for transport and the bus comes on time and leaves on time and you miss the bus, then in that case, yes, we charge you because you booked a seat and that was supposed to be full, right? In case we didn't show up or we're late, then we refund you and we give you an extra gift from Swivel, or an extra apology basically, that's completely automated. So like we give you a compensation based on that.
And how many routes are you planning to put?
So now actually we have 100 routes across Nairobi. The plan is towards end of years to be at 500 routes, which covers entire Nairobi.
All right.
Yes.
And future prospects, probably?
So now we're building this intra-city network, basically. So we're connecting Nairobi, all of it within itself, basically. All suburbs with CBD and vice versa, and all suburbs within themselves as well. So instead of now, like a normal commuter has to go to CBD and then finds another commute to go back somewhere, now he can go straight between districts, etc. The plan is to expand that network, and then once this is established, this we're of enough size, then we start building on the inter-city network as well. So connecting Nairobi with other cities as well.
All right.
Yeah.
In the recent past, e-hailing apps have always had challenges.
Yes.
And one of the challenges is resistance, especially with these particular drivers. You find owners of matatus, yes, fighting you people. So how are you planning to counter that particular, yes, challenge?
So we're actually working with the matatus and working with the SACCOs. I think the market is big enough to suit everybody. I think we all need to work together to solve the congestion problem in Nairobi. I think we build there's an opportunity that we create a new business line for the matatus as well, right? So imagine if we're able to upgrade the matatus, if it's good enough, it's of value, and it's a high quality vehicle, you can actually sign it up to Swivel and make more money off Swivel actually. So instead of you, like as a matatu owner, for example, having to wait until the bus is completely full and you have to stay in the station and so on and so forth, you actually now you have a guaranteed payments from Swivel, you leave on time, you don't need to care about how many people are on the bus, you get paid anyway, right? So now I think we hope that, and we hope we will do our best to work with the matatu and the SACCOs to basically upgrade the level of the matatus, and even we are willing to invest. We're pumping up money in the, like an investment, 1.5 billion shillings here in the operations. So part of that will go actually into working with the matatu owners, revamping the matatus and the status of the matatus, training the drivers on customer care, training the drivers, revamping all the quality, and actually integrating them within our network as well.
Okay, and we've seen strikes still on the matter, yeah, of e-hailing apps. We've seen strike, especially when we come to Uber and Taxify, all these apps. Yes. We've seen drivers coming out to strike.
Yes.
And then for the fact that there is a lot of price wars.
Yes.
And with competition, yes, are we going to witness the same thing with public transport, especially keeping in mind that this has been an ongoing trend, not only in Kenya, yes, but even other places where these particular technology apps have been set up?
So actually what we do is we capitalize on the buses in general, or the bus business is a very seasonal business, right? There's high quality buses that work with the tour companies, the education sector, so on and so forth. And these buses, apart from the tourism, like like the summer, for example, when there's a high demand seasons, they're actually pretty much sitting around with low demand, I would say. So actually we provide a much more stable source of income, higher pay as well. So that means that actually the vehicle has much better return on investment on its own, right? And already the price, I think the price that we offer to the consumer is already very low enough that doesn't leave so much room for a price war, I'd say. And the driver gets paid a fixed fare anyway. So as long as he shows up on time, of high quality, he shows up, etc., then he gets paid a fixed amount. He doesn't need to care about how many passengers or the price war that goes between companies or whatever.
All right, but for now, since it's quite new in the market, we have little getting into the market, into the market space, and soon we'll have other companies actually venturing into this, meaning we'll have more drivers leaving this particular public transport, as you had earlier mentioned, saying that it's actually more convenient for them. And when that time comes, how are you planning to accommodate these particular drivers? Because it will reach a point where the demand is less compared to the supply.
So actually supply is always the bottleneck, right? I think Nairobi is a 6 million people city, and there's a huge potential to even like for an intercity network as well, right? So supply is always the constraint, always the bottleneck. I think to get to that point still we need years from now. So I think now we are able to accommodate as many upgraded matatos, as many higher quality vehicles as needed. That we see already the demand is quite huge. Cairo, like Nairobi has been there for 6 months for us, is already as the same size as Cairo, which is a city like 5 times as big in just 6 months, and Cairo has been there for 2 years. So it's our fastest growing city. And
And how do you think this is going to streamline the public transport sector? Because the public transport sector in Kenya, the matatu sector, is known to be a bit chaotic. So with this particular technology, how do you think it's going to streamline this sector to ensure that passengers are catered for and there is just sanity on our roads?
Yes. So actually there are a few stakeholders here, and there's a driver, there's the vehicle, and then there's the punctuality and everything else. And like we all want to deliver this value proposition of safe, reliable, affordable, and convenient transport, right? So we work with the drivers. Basically, we train them intensively, and we train them in our technology, and we train them how to like the basic customer service. We train them on how to use the apps. We train them anti-sexual harassment training, so on and so forth. And the vehicle, we work on upgrading the vehicle. So we have measures on every part of the vehicle, like even the leg room, how much leg room does in the vehicle, like the wood, the floor, how does it look from the outside, all of the interiors, etc. So we have very, very high standards on how do we accept the vehicles. Every vehicle who comes on board, the driver gets personally interviewed, the vehicle gets verified, and everything gets checked, and then it gets onboarded in the system. The driver then goes through a performance plan, basically, where his performance is monitored. We work with him to improve his performance, to cater on these reliability and quality, basically.
Okay, Mustafa, CEO of Swivel, will come back to you and delve deeper into this particular matter, because this includes public transport and disrupting this particular transport. But before then, let's cross over to Bomas of Kenya, where we have our reporter Jimmy Mbogo, who's currently on standby and who has been at the AGM of Safaricom. Jimmy, what is the latest from your end?
Indeed, a very good afternoon to you too, Sarah. Yes, the AGM has just concluded just moments ago, and we're heading for a press briefing just to be able to be addressed by some of the Safaricom officials to tell us what some of the concerns that are being expressed and what they're currently doing to address the issues that are being raised by some of the shareholders. Now, one of the things that you had earlier on seen is the fact that some shareholders have actually been complaining and saying that the matters that are being put to vote they could not participate because some of them do not even have the financial records. However, Sarah, one of the important messages that is coming out of this AGM is the fact that this year's dividend payment has gone up, and one of the things some of the shareholders are expecting to receive is about 24.84 billion shillings in terms of special dividends, as well as the normal dividends, which is about 50 billion, making it a total of about 75 billion thereabout that will be going to dividends alone. However, no, Sarah, some of these shareholders are saying they have come from as far as Nyeri, as far as Murang'a, to be able to be part of this annual general meeting, but because of the logistical challenges, some of them actually got here late, and which has been an issue for them. We're currently about to head to the press briefing by the by the board as well as the CEO, and we'll be giving you more updates in the next few minutes. But for now, back to you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Jimmy Mbogo. He'll be giving us the latest update later in our subsequent bulletin, as we had stopped, just taken a short break on this particular interview on disruption of public transport. We are joined by Mustafa Kandil, CEO of Swivel. Now, before we let you go, just tell us, what are the expectations, or what should we expect from Swivel?
I think you should expect from Swivel to work with all stakeholders to provide a very customer-centric experience. We are committed to, we see our customers as our drivers, and our users basically use Swivel on a daily basis. We're committed to providing them a product that's built around them, basically. We promise to cover all Nairobi, to provide the middle class in Nairobi with a service that's available, that's reliable, that's convenient, and we provide to expand beyond, like to all socioeconomic classes. We commit to working with the government to help kind of reduce congestion of the roads of Nairobi.
All right, thank you very much, Mustafa Kandil, CEO of Swivel. He's been able to tell us about transport sector, and especially the public transport sector. Now let's take a look at how the shares are performing at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. We want to see the performance of the shares. Who are the biggest gainers? Who are the biggest losers of the day? Now let's take a look at what we have as the top gainers of the day. We have Liberty Kenya, that is priced at 10 shillings. And the percentage change for this particular share is at 4.17%. That's the increment. We have the National Bank of Kenya that comes in at number 2 at 65.25. That is the price share, and the percentage change for this particular share is at 3.68%. Now we have NMG at 3.24 price share, and the percentage change for this particular share goes for 3.11%. Now those are the top gainers of the day. We have Liberty Kenya, NBK, and NMG. Now let's take a look at the top losers of the day. Now top losers of the day, we have the East African Cable at 3.01. That is the share that has been priced at 3.01%. Now the percentage change for this particular share is at negative 4.17%. Now we have Umeme Limited at 3.94 price share. Now the percentage change for this particular share is at negative 6.58%, and we have the NSC, that price share is at 10.55, and also the percentage change for this particular price share is at negative 4.52%. Now these are the top losers: East African Cable, Umeme, and NSC. These are the particular top losers. Now we have, I'll be giving you the currencies and how the Kenyan shilling is performing against other major currencies. We have the US dollar. The US dollar, we want to look at how the US dollar is performing. We have, it's selling at 103. It's buying rather at 103.45 cents and selling at 103.58 cents. Now let's take a look at the pound. It is buying at 126.25 cents and selling at 126.54 cents. That is the pound. Now let's look at the euro, that is selling at buying at 114.50 and selling at 114.75. That is the euro. Now let's look at the yen. It's buying at 14.48 cents, selling at 14.51 cents. Tanzanian shillings selling at 22.26. That is selling and buying at 22.12 cents. We have the Ugandan shillings, that is buying at 35.56 cents and selling at 35.72 cents. That is what we have in our Forex today, and that is how we wrap up Inside Business, the last word in business. My name is Sarah Adam. Up next is Newscut with Shiksha Arora.